Welcome back to Man of Cross New Horizons. I'm Day Darling. As you see what's going on a lovely island of Fawnhollow today. What should we talk about today? I'm not really sure. I don't really have anything in particular in mind. I don't think anything's happened recently. The weather, it looks average, I would say. It's not the most pleasant day in the world. It's quite overcast, I'll certainly say, over here where I live. Who knows what it's like over where you live? Maybe you live in Saskatchewan, Canada, and it's snowing? I don't know, does it? I only sort of like vaguely know. Is Saskatchewan the snowy one, right? It's a sort of like more rural one, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 4:53 p.m. on Monday, June 6th, 2022. Of course, we've got Able sisters visiting. You know what I was actually looking up? Because, you know, I like sort of like, well, to a certain extent, like fashion. I like the idea of fashion and sort of thing, you know. I'm not the sort of person who goes like, oh, high fashion, what's the point of it in general? You know, this is where you do the Devil Wears Prada quit or being or whatever. It's like the reason you're wearing, you know, that cerulean blazer or whatever is because of someone who experimented. And anyway, I don't know. I'm basically paraphrasing the scene in Devil Wears Prada where it's like high fashion is meant to be ridiculous over the top. It's not meant to be for conventional wear and that sort of thing, but it's from that advancements in fashion, I suppose, trickle down, I suppose, over and over again into what becomes things which actual consumers will purchase. It's a sort of just like pushing the boundaries and experimentation limits and taking from that things which can actually be used. Not which things can actually use, but use that to like spark ideas. It's sort of just like a place to sort of like let loose fashion-wise, and then, you know, people look at it and be like, I would never wear that, and it's, you know, sort of just meant to be like, you're not meant to wear it. I mean, I guess you can wear it if you want, but it wasn't designed for it to be like worn every day. It's more just meant to be a bold, I suppose, statement. Anyway, yeah, I was looking at fashion things because I was just sort of trying to get some ideas of like different types of fashion in one day. It's actually kind of difficult to learn about that sort of things, you know. Like, there used to be, well, I mean, there still are these subreddits of like fashion advice on Reddit, which years ago I used to sort of like not frequent that often, but I sort of went to every now and then because I like to sort of peruse what they had. There used to be very common things of like albums of like different, like someone being like, this is whatever, like I don't know. Cybergoth fashion or something like that, and something like inspiration ideas, and they would show that off and then have like basically like a sort of collage of all the different types of fashion, not different types of fashion, but some like a load of different outfits that they put together all in the name of fashion, because they're someone who's surrounds himself in fashion. It's a lot easier to learn about different types of like sex or cause or fashion from someone who actually, you know, surrounds themselves more with it, I suppose, entirely. Is that a real one? No, it's a fake one. Yeah, but nowadays it's sort of just like, you know, I haven't been there for a while, and I sort of like looked around. It's mostly just, you know, like I couldn't really find as many of the other sort of albums that sort of people sort of put together to try and get some good vibes going, I suppose, like to show off their aesthetics and whatnot. So, you know, and I know you didn't bring this up because I was like, huh, you know, maybe I just came at a bad time. But then also there was like one of the top posts was something just like, you know, subreddits changed or something. People used to post inspiration albums, and now it's just sort of people posting, you know, whatever, like whatever. I don't know, I didn't really read it, and I was like, oh, that's drama, and you know, I'm not really part of this community, so it's not really much for me to see. But I scrolled down because there was an interesting comment being like, why do people actually go to learn fashion? And apparently people go to TikTok now to really learn fashion. It's sort of a TikTok hashtag outfit of a day to really learn about that sort of things, or you can learn about it on like hold on, there's an in-between to that sentence. And then there are some other more useful comments down later, which I actually asked questions that I was thinking as well. It's like, obviously, if you're not that aware of that sort of thing, there's a lot of things which like do aesthetics are sort of like key and buzzwords nowadays, which are used to describe different like sub-categories and categories of, I suppose, in general, fashion and styles and whatnot. But also, there's not really like a good place to which sort of like or at least I didn't know until recently that there wasn't really a good place to really learn about all of them. It's like, you know, you might be like, what's witchcore? What's dark academia? I don't really know all this like boho sort of things, and you're like, oh, I don't know what these fashion styles even mean. I only have a sort of vague idea. What's the difference between like I don't know, if you're looking into Japanese fashion, between like kogyaru and like other things. Mengyaru, is that a thing? I can't really remember off the top of my head. Or these different types of like fashion. You're just like, well, where do I even learn about these? And it's kind of difficult because, you know, I don't really know what apart from TikTok, apart from what social medias, I suppose, are the key sort of like fashion centers and that sort of thing. And that's the thing I was curious about. Like, it's probably not going to be Reddit, I'm going to be honest. And I guess it probably used to be like Twitter and Tumblr, I would assume, but you know, there's a kind of changed, I suppose, in the usage, and now it's turned to TikTok. I don't really use TikTok, but you know, it's quite nice to see the sort of outfit every day, sort of shorts that people put on. You know, I'm not going to be here to comment about TikTok from like a business perspective, you know, the very, very scarily accurate algorithm apparently, because I'm not really their sort of market in the first place. So, you know, I don't have any worry over like, oh, you know, if I download TikTok on my phone, I'm going to spend all day on it, because I don't really care about sort of videos. I sort of watch them and be like, oh, I got bored. Which, but I don't know. I'm sort of like counter to the usual consumer of like wanting short snippets of things. It's more like I guess I do want short snippets of things, but I want short snippets of things which I know I want. I suppose. As soon as you recommend me something which I'm not like, you know, I've never seen before, I'm like, I'm not sure, you know, I had to genuinely warm up to it, but then that like never happens anyway. So, which is why I probably only watch Northern 9 videos over and over and over again. Not over and over and over again, but he just outputs just like a ridiculous amount of content, I suppose, every single day. So, that's very helpful in that sense. No, but what I mean was like, apparently there's something called an aesthetics wiki, which basically lists out all like these different types of aesthetics. I can go to it now. I've got it pinned because I was like, oh, it's actually kind of helpful, even if some of the aesthetics are like quite, you know, niche is probably how I put it. I think it's useful to know the sort of like general directions and what you can sort of search to actually get this sort of inspiration from in the first place. Because, you know, I like, you know, drawing clothes and characters and that sort of thing, and like trying to understand. Or my characters in mind have like different aesthetics and stuff that they like to stick with, and understanding these different aesthetics allows you to portray a wider variety of things, because I think fashion is a very fun thing to do. So anyway, hold on, there's like a whole list of aesthetics over here. Like, should we just scroll to a random one? We're in Witchy Academia. Hello Vivian, what's up with that? Witchy Academia's, you know, and I assume it's a combination of academia and, you know, witchcore or whatever it is. You know, witch stuff is sort of like, you know, I don't really know, you know it when you see it. It's not like all Hogwarts and stuff. I mean, I suppose it can be Hogwarts and stuff and that sort of thing, but it's often like, I don't know, you know, why don't I, instead of me telling you, I just click on witchcore and see what it says for witchcore over here. It feels very sort of like, I'm not sure how to describe it, like tarot cards, that sort of thing, nature, occultish stuff all sort of like combined together. And while I'm not really much of a purveyor of most of these aesthetics myself, I think it's very interesting to see, you know, the sort of styles and inspiration images. It gives you like a good sort of like sparks of imagination of exactly, like, you know, different outfits. Well, at least I think. I don't even know what this one is. Vorticism. It's the art movement. I don't know how the art movement's on here as well. But, yeah, that's pretty cool. Aesthetics, all that sort of thing. Weirdcore, weeaboo, web creep. Y2K, this is the one I heard about recently, is meant to be reminiscent of like early 2000s. Oh, 1995 to early 2000s pop culture. I guess that makes sense. Y2K is meant to be before, a little bit before 2000s as well. There's a lot of pictures here. I would say most of them are just bubbles. So I don't know. I'm not really sure what to make of that. But anyway, I think it's a useful thing. I haven't really looked too much into these sort of things. What? I had to click on this one. It's called Lobotomy Chic. It's a nihilistic meta-irony detachment aesthetic on exploring femininity. What does that even mean? Fair enough, you know. More power to the people who find solace, I suppose, in the aesthetics that they like and, you know, hold true to themselves. I forgot what I was going to say from this. I don't know what my aesthetic would be, like my fashion style. I feel like I mean, I can say it's very normal, but I know that normcore is like an aesthetic as well in its own sense. And, you know, the labels are meant to be kind of here to help like categorise that sort of thing. At least that's what I use them for, being like, oh, you know, if I see someone wearing like an outfit I like, I'll be like, oh, what sort of fashion style is that? And then you can find other things related to it, which would hopefully also spark other things you like, etc., etc. But I don't get too lost into attaching labels to myself or whatever, you know. I wear like what I like. Or how would I describe it? I don't know, but I'm sure a fashion expert could describe it for me if he particularly wanted, but I'm I suppose mostly indifferent to it or something. And I don't think it particularly follows much of a strong aesthetic, I suppose. It's not that it's aesthetic lips, it obviously has an aesthetic, but I suppose it's sort of the same way that people say like, oh, you know, I don't have an accent, even though, you know, everyone's got an accent, you just don't know what your accent is, I suppose. I suppose I just, you know, everyone's got a style. I just don't exactly know what my style would be called. Is how I describe it? I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, TikTok. Yeah, I haven't been really using it. I just sort of bookmarked the outfit of the day, OOTD, hashtag, because I searched it on TikTok and something, and put it in my bookmarks, and maybe if I want to get some fashion inspiration or whatever, I can just sort of browse through there. And apparently it's a good way to set, if you search for different aesthetics on TikTok as well, which is, you know, what kind of sparked that whole thing in the first place. It's a good way to actually find specific things in that category that you want. But I don't know, I don't really know where other people really go to sort of like learn about fashion, apart from, you know, just sort of like walking out on the streets and being like, oh, you know, if that person's got a cool style, and then maybe you just go up to them and be like, oh, where'd you get that from? And they'll be like, oh, yeah, where I got it from. If you want to know where I get most of my things, like 90% of it's probably from ASOS, if anything. That's not exactly true, but, you know, a lot of it is from ASOS. ASOS, they got good sales on a lot of the time, and, you know, they're a good balance, I think, of the style that I like, but also, you know, a little bit more daring, but not like outrageously daring, I suppose. But yeah, I don't really know where people learn about fashion from, apart from, you know, like a fashion school, I suppose. But, you know, I'm not that keen to go to like a fashion school. I mean, it'd be a sort of thing like if I was still at school or something, maybe I would like attend a few of these like fashion lectures or whatever, and I'd be like, oh, you know, it's a bit of curiosity's sake. I didn't do that when I was doing school, but, you know, I suppose self-learning is something I'm pretty good at anyway, so it's not too big a deal. But a lot of it's just exposure anyway, you know, wherever you can. I suppose it's the sort of thing where, like, yeah, exposure is probably the main. For the average person, is the main way to learn about different types of fashion, right? Yeah, I'm not talking about the people who actually become fashion designers and had to sort of like get into the nitty-gritty of, like, you know, types of stitching or whatever, how, you know, the history of fashion or whatever, how you can steal styles and like mix and match them together, etc., etc. And just talk about your average John Doe, Jane Doe, whatever, just being like, you know, I want to expand my wardrobe a little bit about something. You just got to look around like other people, you know. Everyone's got their own sort of style, I suppose, when you're kind of probably an expert in your own sort of style, right? And then just by communicating, talk to others, and just by, like, osmosis, or not osmosis, diffusion, I suppose, because it's not really through water, but if you're like knowledge diffusion, style diffusion, which is not a phrase, but it should be, you sort of like pick up little things that they do with their style, and, you know, you can implement it into your own wardrobe or whatever have you, you know. I don't know, go wilder, I say. And that's a fun part. And you know me, you know, I play my little gacha games, and they often have like illustrations of characters and what sort of thing. It's a thing which I am. Oh, Benny from Radishell, you know, he's not been here for a while, probably because he has. Oh yeah, he did visit because of it was his birthday thing a while back. That's why Apollo brought it up. You know, strange that no one else brought it up until now. It's been like a week since then, Apollo, but, you know, fair enough. But anyway, what was I talking about? I forgot. Fashion, osmosis, diffusion. I don't know why those are words which kept in my head. Yeah, you pick up fashion from other people, I suppose, and that sort of. Oh yeah, the games I play. A trend I'm starting to notice is that the fashion in those sort of games are getting a lot better. You know, a lot of these idol games, a lot of time you sort of look at them and being like, you sort of raise the eyebrow at the actual fashion itself, like with some of the stage outfits. Back in the day, you know, nowadays it's a lot better, but, well, I suppose even now sometimes you go like, what? At least I always felt like I'm doing that. But nowadays, you know, I'm looking at things, I'm looking at like a fashion, you know, the casual outfits and that sort of thing, and I'm like, I would wear that. Or I'm like, that is a cool outfit. I'm like, oh, you know, that was cool, mix and match, you know, this shows off her style very well, you know. I suppose it's strange to be taking fashion inspiration, I suppose, from video game, but, you know, that's the thing with, like, artistic inspiration, or any sort of inspiration. You can take it from anywhere, really, from all sorts of medium, all sorts of properties, all sorts of whatever have you, even from the strangest places. You know, that's the beauty of life. It's many sort of different patterns and things, and all intersecting and weaving together. And you might surprise yourself, I suppose, on what you might learn and discover through setting out on different journeys and paths, contrary to what you might think would be most beneficial. I'm not going to say that's what you should do all the time. Like, obviously, if you want to, like, I don't know, learn programming, you're not going to start just watching a load of, like, art YouTubers or something and hope you pick something up from that. Obviously, you've got to have a foundation there, but you'll be surprised where inspiration can come from, is what I mean to say, basically. I don't know why I'm speaking like some, like, old deity or something, because, you know, I'm not, like, wise beyond my years or anything. I'm just your average person. But yeah, I don't even remember where I was going with this, to be honest. Oh no, Biscuit, you're real. Let's go practice medicine. I also noticed his nose is a different colour. I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, and like, I don't know. I suppose it's more like more care is being taken towards the fashion. Like, I mean, I know I talk about Idol Master, shiny colours all the time, but shiny colours is one that really like sparked off like me sort of becoming more aware that there has been like a shift, because in shiny colours a lot of them are about casual outfits, and ignore the outfits that they wear for stages and that sort of thing, but like the actual outfits that the characters wear like sort of casually. I'm just like, a lot of these are really cool and very distinctive of their personality, but all the characters follow their own sort of very distinct style, and it's like, oh, you know, that's really cool, you know, that's the sort of thing I want to do when I draw things. But it's neither here nor there, and I suppose most of the time when I draw things for the Dear Darling YouTube channel, it's kind of fixed what style it has to be in the first place, right? Because I kind of had to follow exactly the video game itself, which it's coming from. Which, by the way, I'm not sure. I need to start actually drawing the next thumbnail arts for, what was it? Gris's doesn't seem that bad, because Gris is just like a big old face, you know. I dislike drawing the face straight on because it's very confusing, I think, drawing that angle of a deer head. I suppose we should also get these fossils while we're at it. But this Steven Sausage Roll, does it even have much of an art style? Art? I mean, it's quite minimalist, which I suppose is a point. Steven Sausage Roll fan art. Well, some of this is very strange, is probably how I'd put it. Well, I suppose if anything, that sort of leaves a lot of room for my own sort of interpretation and experimentation, which is always a little bit of fun. But yeah, I don't know, fashion in general. Walk, walk, fashion baby. Something, something. How's that rest of that Lady Gaga song go? I can't remember. What song even is that? Walk, walk, fashion baby. Something, something, something. I said it's something, something crazy, but I don't know if that's true. That's why you Google it. When you don't know an answer, you can just Google it, you know. No shame in trying to, like, reach into the depths of your mind to do it, or you could just, you know, find out the answer very quickly. Walk, walk, fashion baby, Roblox ID. Oh, it's Bad Romance. Why does it come up? It comes up from Junior Bridge or something, yeah, I guess. Oh, you know, there's a swear in it, so, you know, maybe it's a good thing I didn't know the rest of it. What was I going to say? I don't know, what else can I say? I mean, aesthetics I think are a pretty cool thing. It's the sort of thing, like, to be honest, actually, before, you know, I started using, well, I shouldn't say I started using TikTok. I think started is a bit of a strong word, but, you know, learnt about people using TikTok, I think, to learn about fashion and, you know, aesthetics and that sort of thing. I think a very common thing was just to browse Tumblr or Pinterest. But Pinterest became a lot more annoying because now you sort of like need an account to actually like search things. It also doesn't like properly credit the original sources of the images a lot of the time, and the images are like really annoying. And I don't have a Pinterest account. I might have a Pinterest account. I don't remember what the details are, and I can't bother to log into it. So you know, I just end up not using it. But Pinterest is a nice sort of like inspirational board, I suppose, to actually not collate ideas, but like gather ideas for collation in the first place. Which might sound a little strange to you, because, you know, I'm sure if you're not the type of person to, you know, obviously not collect aesthetics, but collect artistic references of that sort of thing, you might be like, oh, you know, I didn't really thought Pinterest was just sort of like, I don't know. I feel like Pinterest has quite a negative reputation. I suppose it does have a negative reputation for some good reasons. But, you know, mainly about the, like, crediting with the actual images, and then, I'll be honest, is not great. Most of the time when I look at the image, sometimes it'll have a link being like, oh, from this place or from this person or whatever, but it doesn't actually directly link to the website, or it doesn't actually link the website properly, or I click on it and it just takes me to the main page of that sort of website. You know, be like, oh, you know, credit to whatever, someone on Instagram, and you click on it and it just takes you to the Instagram homepage rather than the actual like page of a creator itself, and it's like, okay. It's not normally how crediting or sourcing works, but, you know, I can turn a blind eye for it to just being a broken link or something. But, yeah, I feel like Pinterest has garnered quite an... Well, I don't know if it's garnered negative information... negative... whatchamacallit? What am I trying to say? Reputation than before. I feel like I sort of shifted onto TikTok. Whatever. It's whichever, you know, the most popular social media is at the time. Which is fair enough, because, you know... more popular equals more people equals more, you know, people who shouldn't be using it, I suppose. And spreading potentially harmful words is perhaps the most delicate way, I suppose I can put that sort of thing. I don't know what people think about Pinterest now, but it's nice to collate some ideas, I think. I guess it's just sort of nice to have something which is a collation of like all the other sort of like image or social media sites. I know there's other sites which try and do that with other things. Like, I know there's some for like Tumblr and Twitter which use a Tumblr or Twitter API, I assume. I don't actually know if it uses the API, and it's kind of assumed that's how it works. To try and collate like things under tags, because Tumblr and Twitter themselves aren't, no, Twitter especially is terrible, like for actually searching and discoverability. I suppose it wasn't really meant for that in the first place. I'm not really sure what it was designed for. I think it was sort of designed to throw out your random messages to sort of thin air, and then like if, you know, things would sort of like randomly pop by if they like pop off. It was sort of like word of mouth, just like exemplified really far. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, I'm not here to sort of like analyze. Oh, hello. Got a message. Is this a message I need to? Interesting. That's a message I'll reply to in a bit, but of course after the episode itself. But for now, I forgot what I was going to do. No! We lost out on 8,000 bells just because of my Joy-Con drift. But yeah, I don't know, aesthetics and that sort of thing. I really guess that the long and short of the answer is that you just sort of learn it mostly from other people, I think. I'm trying to think, what what sort of fashion styles do I take like from my friends? I don't know, I feel like me and my friends have a quite different fashion style, so a lot of the time I don't really take that much. Here and there, you know. Or perhaps it's more indicative of myself, being like I know what my own sort of style, what sort of style I like in the end is. So that's why I end up doing, you know. I don't really know why I was going with this. I'm sort of running out of things to talk about, you know, aesthetics and styles and fashion. I mean, probably because I'm not really an expert in these sort of things in the first place. But I don't know. What about the whole, you know, ending things with core? I feel like it's a very common thing to do with aesthetics, isn't it? You know, X core, you know, you got cottage core, you got witch core. I don't really know any others off the top of my head. Punk core, is that a thing? And I feel like punk core can't be a thing because punk itself is already a thing, but I guess witch itself is already a thing, but witch isn't used to describe an aesthetic, while witch core kind of is. Which I'm not really sure. I assume it comes from hardcore, and it's just meant to use to be like an intense signifier, or what have you. So maybe punk core is a thing, and it just like is a more hardcore version of punk core. Well, no, wait, hardcore version of punk. So what's a hardcore version of like witch aesthetics? Witch core? Hardcore witch core? I don't know. And I mean, I suppose to sort of loop back to something I was talking about like 12 minutes earlier, the whole reason there isn't really, apart from this aesthetics wiki, I suppose, much of like a collator of an information site, I suppose, about all these different types of fashion styles and aesthetics is probably that's sort of like a bit strange, I suppose, to collating all these different people without like necessarily a common interest, I suppose, altogether on one site is a bit, you know, strange in the first place. They sort of collate onto their own preferred websites or social circles, right? So it's only really through a wiki where you can really learn about it. But there's also like, I'm sure there's tons and tons and tons of different aesthetics out there. So I'm not really sure who's got like the final say on what a sort of like aesthetic, I suppose, is in the first place. Like, where do you draw the line? I don't really know. I was going to be like it's playing God or something, but you know, I think that's perhaps a bit too strong. It's not really like playing God. That's sort of something you use, which is more like for affronts on a humanity, I think, rather than, you know, people just trying to define their own style, right? I don't know. I'm also probably like, you know, one thing I do like to do is that, you know, I don't really know much about like the Met Gala or what it stands for, you know, and I'm not really much of a celebrity worshiper. Like, you know me and my ideas, not my ideas of pop culture, but my knowledge on popular culture. I don't really know what's going on like at all, to be perfectly honest. But, you know, I do like looking at the Met Gala stuff because I do like looking at like all the outfits that they wear to the, I suppose that's sort of like an in-between of like high fashion and practicality, like, no, I don't know, what's the opposite of high fashion? Like, middle fashion? Normal fashion? Or just like wearing normal clothes that you'd normally wear? I don't really know exactly how that works, but, sorry, bit of stretch. It's interesting to see the sort of stylings. Oh yeah, that's what I came here to put the song away. It's interesting to see what people wear and that sort of thing. I don't really remember any of it off the top of my head, but, you know, I like to look through and just be like, oh, that looks cool, that doesn't look cool, or that looks strange, or weird, you know. Just a whole mixed variety of reactions to all these sort of different things you see. I don't really know what happens in a Met Gala, I'm going to be honest. It just kind of seems like a huge celebrity party. I'm not in it all for a party about something. I just kind of want to like look at people's clothes, I guess. And you might be like, why don't you just look like at Paris Fashion Week or something, you know? That's a good point. You know, maybe I will. I don't even know when Paris Fashion Week is or that sort of thing. But I would like to reiterate, I'm not like that into fashion. I like fashion, don't get me wrong. Like I find it interesting, that sort of thing. But it's not like my livelihood, and I wouldn't really say it's one of my hobbies or anything. I just have a passing interest in it, you know? Like some people might have a passing interest in Roman history, but they don't exactly like research it. It's not like the only thing they look into, etc., etc. It's not just like, you know, it's really interesting to learn about, you know, what are we called? Emperors gone by. I forgot the words. It's going to be like Caesars gone by, and I was like, that's not right. Or is it right? I don't know. I don't really know much about Roman history, so I can't really comment on that in the first place. But it's along that sort of thing where I'm like, I have an interest, but it's not, I suppose it doesn't get much further than just like an interest. It's not crossed into a hobby yet. I did have a conversation with one of my friends about this, where I was just like, if I did have like infinite money, then I think fashion probably would. Oh, hello, message. Very, very, very strong messages there. That's okay. I can reply. Well, actually, this episode's about to end, so we'll reply to her. You know, just after this. What was I going to say? I forgot. Completely interrupt my train of thought. Passing interest, hobbies, and oh yeah, if I had like infinite money, that maybe fashion would be something I'd take more interest in, because I'd be like, oh, you know, now I could be like, oh, if I see something, buy it. And just get like a huge wardrobe full of clothes and, you know, actually experiment with different styles. But, you know, now you've got to be, you know, kind of money smart or that sort of thing, and can't afford to just like buy whatever. So a lot of the clothes I end up buying are just sort of pieces of clothing which can be used with lots of different things. So it looks like I have tons of different outfits when really I only have like 5 sets of clothes or something. But anyway, I'm going to round off this episode here, so if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Any likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Follow me on Twitter or join my Dear Darling Discord down below, or both. You know, I don't know why there's all in there. I hope we can see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.